What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Yala, your thrice weekly podcast where we talk about the hottest news with a touch of what, Terrence?
Good old humor.
Good old humor, man.
Yeah.
How has your week been so far, man?
It's been, interesting, good week. Like, I think, after the rush of the presidential elections, things have sort of settled back into normal business again. Right?
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah, like I know last week was technically the first week after the presidential election, but it still feels like this is the first week that we are back to normal.
Yeah. Last week there was still a lot of buzz about it, and I think we weren't looking at other aspects of Singapore politics that much. But it seems like stuff is coming back again, and just yesterday in my mind I was thinking, when's Parliament sitting again?
Oh yeah, because you see people like filing motions.
Yeah.
And I mean, like this week it is Tharman's inauguration, right?
Is it this week?
September 14th.
Oh wow, that's pretty soon. Yeah.
Yeah, on 2 days time lah.
Yeah.
And contrary to what an Indian channel thinks, Tharman is not taking over. Lee Hsien Loong has PM.
Yeah. Yeah. No person of Indian origin is taking over.
I heard that. I'm like,
PM.
Guys. Okay, I know there's Indian pride and all, but that's a bit much, lah. That's a bit much. But yeah, lah, we're kind of back to regular business per se. But I mean, it is still going to be a big thing with Tharman being inaugurated soon. Yeah. And next week will be the Tharman era, lah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
Post Halima.
Yeah. I'm seeing a lot of farewells or tributes to Halima coming up these couple of days. Yeah. How do you feel about all that?
I mean, I think it's interesting because as compared to the previous election, it feels like this election there was a lot more investment of time and emotions by people.
Yep.
So I'm curious. I'm optimistic, but I'm also excited.
Yeah,
I'm excited. You?
Yeah. I mean, it's. I think it will be quite a big change, whether or not, whatever you think about the presidency, right? I think it will be a very big change when there's someone. Who had such a strong mandate and such support from everybody coming in and becoming president. I think that even related to things we're talking about today, like the significance of that leadership change, it says a lot about society as well, right?
That is true. That is true. But we will get to that.
Yes.
Before we dive into the first topic, is there anything you want to say, Terrence?
As always, if you found this podcast engaging or funny or helpful in any way, please make sure to follow and subscribe on whatever platforms you're listening to this. Even on YouTube, you also should be subscribing to our YouTube because you can actually see us.
See our faces.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and our non-reactions. Yeah. Sometimes our reactions.
Yeah.
Where Spotify, Instagram, TikTok,
Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, anywhere where any good platforms are, we're there.
Yeah. And if you're on Spotify, you can also leave us a rating. I believe now we've got almost 1,100 ratings.
Wow. Okay.
Average of 4.8 on Spotify.
Yeah.
So thanks for all the love, but we can always use more love.
Yeah. And if you want to work with us, email us, contact@ministryoffunny.com.
Yeah.
It's always the place to reach out to us for any serious collaborations or just to work together and figure something out.
And then we have been getting emails, which is nice.
Yeah, we have.
From all sorts of people.
Yep.
But yeah, cool, man. Shall we jump into the first topic?
Yes. And what is this first topic that is... interesting thing. None of our topics are based in Singapore today, which is, I think it's been a while since we've not had something Singapore-centric to talk about that, right?
Yeah, and it's not saying we considered. We did consider, but these few felt like, there's a lot more... There's a lot of yalla butt potential.
Yes.
Yeah. So the first topic is around... Not just the recent conviction of Danny Masterson, who became his breakout role was back in the show called the That 70s Show.
Yeah.
I mean, for those younger listeners, you might not be aware, but during 1998 to 2006, That 70s Show was a massively popular show.
Massive.
Yeah, massive. I loved it. It's not to the level of Friends, but it was not too far behind also, lah.
Yeah.
It was a great show, and one of the characters played by Danny Masterson called Stephen Hyde, he was like the tough guy, funny guy, and the whole show was set in the 70s.
Yeah.
But
And the show launched the careers of Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis.
And even Danny Masterson, Topher Grace, they all started there.
Yeah.
And over the past 5 years, there has been an ongoing trial of Danny Masterson against 3 counts of rape.
Okay.
And he has recently been sentenced to 30 years to life in prison.
Yeah.
For 2 of the 3 charges. The 3rd rape charge was there was no verdict because of a hung jury.
Yep.
So that was announced on September 7th. But more recently, what has been in the news is a whole backlash towards Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis.
Yeah.
Who are now one of the Hollywood power couples. He has moved on from just being an actor to investor, philanthropist. She's still mainly acting, but up there in terms of the A-listers.
Yeah.
They put out an apology video after it was made known that they were 2 out of about 50 people who had written character references for Danny Masterson that was sent to the judge to kind of talk about his character. And a few days ago, they posted a video on Instagram kind of explaining why they did that and apologizing if they hurt any victims of rape or sexual harassment.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the past 24 to 48 hours, there's been a lot of flack about their actions. But how have you been following this whole case?
Actually, I haven't. It's you who brought it to my attention.
You haven't?
I know you are you love this celebrity stuff, right?
Hey, no.
But you brought it to my attention, yeah. No, I think
you knew Danny Masterson was under
No, I had no clue.
Oh, you didn't know?
Yeah, no. I never really followed that 70s show.
Oh, I loved it
closely. Yeah. So I guess it must have meant a lot to you when you heard about that he was a convicted rapist. Was it?
I mean, you make it meant a lot, as though my hero has had a fall from grace or something. I mean, in the sense that it's just one of those things where you were watching this character when I was 14 to 22.
Yeah.
So it's it was a show about teenagers.
Yeah.
I was a teenager.
Yeah. And
there was a lot on oh shit. So when I found out that he's being convicted of rape, he's been sentenced, I'm like, oh shit, that's I wouldn't say it was sad. It was just damn. You have this image of someone based on who they play.
Yeah.
But this is the reality.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but more recently, it was more the actions of Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis that I thought, that's interesting.
Yeah. But actually, just going back again, so how beloved is his character in that 70s show? Was it a beloved character?
Actually, I think so. I mean, like any good TV show, every character is different.
Yeah.
But he was the cool one.
Oh, the cool one.
Yeah, there was the goofy lead protagonist. Okay. Then there was the funny foreign guy.
Yeah.
Then there was the good-looking himbo, which was Ashton Kutcher.
Okay.
The good-looking bimbo, which was Mila Kunis.
Yeah.
And Stephen Hyde was the one who was older, cooler, wiser.
I see.
Okay. So the very cool character and hilarious.
So is it very sad for you when you heard all this happening? This whole backlash against the stars of the show?
No.
Why
not sad. Because the thing is what he did, I trust the judicial process.
Okay.
And if he's guilty, he's guilty. He deserves the sentence.
Yeah.
And for Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, I do find their behavior and the letters they wrote a bit odd. Do you read the letters?
Yeah, I did. I've read up about the case, but it's just that maybe different from you is that I'm very emotionally detached from this because I have no what do you call it? Sentimental feelings.
You never watch the show?
I mean, I watched here and there, but it never really caught on for me,
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I mean, I always knew Ashton Kutcher as the dude who was dating Demi Moore for a while.
Oh, yeah,
and having that strange thing with Bruce Willis, as Ricky Gervais says, Bruce Willis' son, right?
Yeah, Bruce Willis' son. No, I remember I think I probably had a crush on Mila Kunis back then.
Okay.
Then when I was older, also have another crush again. So it was a re-crushing of a crush.
Got it.
But that aside, the show just felt it resonated.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So you just looking at all this right now, what do you feel about why do you feel that Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, their letters were problematic?
Because it was one of those things that, here's a guy who's convicted of rape. Gone through a very lengthy judicial process.
Yeah.
And they were writing letters to the judge to take into consideration to lessen the sentence.
Okay.
So even though they are in their apology video, which was a bit annoying also because they were clearly reading off a script or something, they say, they don't mean to question the judicial process. Their heart goes out to any victims of sexual harassment. They just wanted to write these character references based on the Danny person that they knew.
Yeah.
But then I felt like, for this kind of thing, people can be like a saint in most of their life, but if they do something fucked up in one aspect of their life, does the character kind of mean much? And I guess the fact that they did it, and then the apology video, which felt a bit odd, and then also there's a whole case of Scientology wrapped around this whole thing also, where they were accused of using their influence to cover up the case. So then you look at it, you're like, there's something iffy about it.
But I mean, we talk about processes, right? The judicial process. The judicial process, I mean the whole court case and everything is separate from the sentencing process, right? So in some sense, this is like what Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, weren't what they're doing sort of like just being a character reference for what they knew about Danny Masterson. Of course, they didn't know that beforehand that he was a rapist and everything, right? So they've explained in the video that they were approached by his family to write something that is only related to the sentencing of the person. And not saying that it's trying to defend his character vis-a-vis what he actually did to those people, right?
Yeah.
So why is it that they should be vilified for, basically writing a letter that is just saying, hey, yes, this guy made mistakes, but this is what I know of this person as I knew him for the last 25 years. And please take that into account while you're doing sentencing.
So that's why I feel is weird. If they were to post this on their own social media, right, then I feel like, okay, you're using your platform that you've built up to put your voice. I think maybe for me, the fact that it was sent to the judge.
Okay.
I think that is a bit weird, because then it becomes a case of like, if you get 100 or 1,000 character letters, should that be part of the consideration? And I feel like it's one of those things that you are trying to influence something that you don't really have the how you say you don't have the justification to do. Because I'm not super familiar with the sentencing process even in Singapore or the US where you can just write a letter to a judge to appeal. So that's where I find it a bit odd. You don't find it odd?
No, but just going back to something you're saying, isn't it worse if they had posted something on their social media, which, I mean, it is their own platform and all.
Yeah.
But it reaches a lot more people than a private letter to a judge, right? Saying, hey, I know this person, I know he fucked up, but generally he was, other than those instances that are now out in public, he was a general, decent person, right? Isn't it worse to use social media to try and drum up support publicly for somebody to pressure the judiciary or the judge via social media? Wouldn't that be worse than writing a personal letter?
But the thing about social media, if you post, then you deal with the consequences.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think like if you want to post anything in defense, I mean, even in Singapore, when you had cases of, say, Dikosh, right, he was convicted, you had some of his friends not say come out and support him, but say they wouldn't abandon him like that. So that one, I'm like, okay, I can disagree with you, but you post it on your own.
Yeah.
I think it's just the fact that they send this to the judge.
Yeah. That means you're saying that because it seems like they're trying to exert influence on the key decision maker in the process. And because they are famous celebrities and everything who could sway personal opinion, right? That it seems messy that they got involved in this whole thing, right? That they shouldn't have got involved.
Yeah. And also, like, that's one thing. Of course, I'm assuming that they are trying to, like twist the arm of the judge. But also the letter, both of them kind of focus on how Danny was a positive influence in their lives.
Yeah.
In terms of keeping them away from drugs. That was one thing that they both said. And then they talked about their conduct on set and conduct on this. Then that's where also I feel like, then you're kind of like, I mean, that's the issue that we see day-to-day life, right?
Yeah.
This is this person who's projecting this image of perfection and all that. And But back in their closet, they have some shit they've done, or they are the way they behave in other aspects of their life is totally opposite to how they behave in general, and I feel, should that be taken into account?
But then, as a friend, if a friend comes to you and say, "Hey, I fucked up," or okay, maybe it's not a crime or something like they fucked up in their marriage or something. Could you help me go and put in a good word to my wife or something like that? Then you say, no, cannot. You don't.
To wife, it's outside of like the system,
Yeah.
So that one I see that's very different.
Okay.
Yeah. So that one, like, I do also feel if a close friend of you fucks up, to just abandon, that's not cool also,
Yeah.
You should be there. You can disagree with what they did, but if it's writing a character reference for your wife, okay that one I'll be open to it because it really it like the judge is almost like part of this system that has to deal with everybody equally Whereas your wife is your wife
Okay,
like they don't have to deal with other husbands.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think also, just as we talk through it, I'm also seeing the difference in that if the wife or your friend's wife, hypothetical friend's wife, is the victim of his behavior and everything, right? Whatever it is, extramarital affair, whatever.
Yeah.
At least the person what you're doing is trying to, make good between the victim and your friend, right?
Yeah.
Whereas this one, it does feel like it's more like Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis were getting involved in the legal process of deciding what punishment he needs to be given, as opposed to like like what you said, vouching for them for Danny Masterson in public and saying, hey, we're waiting for you after your punishment or after you come out from prison or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So there is a bit of a difference there because it does. I think especially for the victims, it must seem like a real slap in the face when knowing that everything that he did has become public, but there's still famous people, powerful people who are working sort of almost behind the scenes to try and cushion the blow for him, right?
Yeah, maybe it's just that has a bit of a feeling. But when you were reading into this, given that you didn't follow it closely, did it feel like, what was your initial thought? But there's nothing wrong.
Not that there's nothing wrong. In that, I was trying to understand, like if you're like the situation where if you're friends with somebody who has gotten in trouble, and then his family, reaches out to say, hey, can you put in a word, with whatever you can do? Like, is that necessarily a wrong thing to do, Like, at what point do you say, this is the line for me as a friend. I can't cross this line already.
Yeah.
And maybe in this case, that this, because of who they are, Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, right, in Hollywood and everything, maybe they have crossed the line, that really in the court of public opinion makes it look really bad on them.
Because like let's say if one of your friends of 25 years actually was convicted of rape.
Yeah.
And the family approaches you to write to a judge in Singapore.
Correct.
A character reference. And he's like a fucking solid guy, in every sense of the word. Would you?
Well, that one is, I mean, like, in a sense, what they said, like they're making they wrote in the vein of like what they basically wrote on what they knew about him for those 25 years, right? I guess that's all you can do, right? But it's just that they embellished their letters with a lot of things, like they talked about him being able to leave their children with him and things like that. There's kind of like, when you're talking about a predator, a sexual predator and all that, it's one of those things that runs counter to what you would say about what you would do around or say about a sexual predator, right? That he's safe to be left around people and things like that, And so that's where the contents, writing letters not necessarily a bad thing, but they claim that they're only writing based on what they know, but they were making a lot of assertions in the letter that seemed to paint like,
he's a role model.
Yeah, there's actually he's not a bad person, and there's no way that they're almost like insinuating like, hey, how, like, this is someone that you can actually trust. He's not a sexual predator when they say things like that. So I wouldn't blanket say that, no, I wouldn't write a letter, but I think there's what the contents of a letter are important. In this case, it's when you read it, it feels like they are going above and beyond to almost say that he's like that it couldn't possibly have been this person that raped the women, right?
Yeah, because I mean, there is one example that Ashton Kutcher brings up. There was an incident where we were at a pizza parlor and a belligerent man who seemed to be berating his girlfriend.
Yeah.
We had never met or seen these people before, but Danny was the first person to jump to the defense of this girl. It was an incident he didn't have to get involved in, but proactively chose to, because that's the way this man, because the way that man was behaving was not right. And then goes on to say that, Danny is always upheld like this, treating humans with respect. Then you read it, it's like, so maybe that's the crux of it, is the content of it.
So I was just thinking in my head, hypothetically, if you, let's say you were convicted of rape, and then I was asked to write a letter for you, like what would I be able to write that wouldn't, would seem, I'm still be your friend, and I would like to support you when you come out of prison and everything, but how do I, what can I write?
What would you say?
First thing comes to my mind is he's a very filial son who every Tuesday he doesn't eat meat because it means a lot to his mother.
And no beef in general. No beef in general.
Yeah, and then generally, he doesn't have a lot of airs around him, takes public transport, and like
there's a fucked up character reference, dude.
No, but I think the point I'm saying is that what I cannot touch on probably is anything about your interactions with women. I mean, other than your mother and maybe your wife and all that, right? But we won't go to the areas of how you treat women, because I think that would almost seem like it's downplaying what the damage he actually did to his victims, right? So I would go around those issues like about how you don't eat beef and you're very nice to your mother.
I bet the judge reading it also like, wow, this guy clearly he's just writing it to just be a friend.
And he's got very resilient member of society. He spent 84 hours.
I never say
putting his hand on the car to win the car. Things like that Yeah. I think then that okay then if I was like, then if that goes out in public, then I'm like, okay this is what you do for a friend, but anything,
then that means you would still think it's okay to send that to the judge, I
mean, ultimately, I think we've talked about this before, right? In how do you judge your friends who do fucked up things in their romantic relationships with people? I think you and I have slightly different views on it, where I feel it's tough as someone outside of the relationship to judge how your friend conducts themselves. But what's your take on that though? Like if your friend cheated on his partner or that, what's your take?
I mean, I wouldn't be able to separate that from their non-romantic side of them.
So you cut them off, you cut him off.
I never cut them off, okay. I have friends who have cheated before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then?
So
you won't write letter for them if they ask.
Fuck you Now you're putting words in my mouth. I'm just saying that over time, the whatever, that trust can be built up again. But I won't deny that if I find out a close friend really cheats on someone, I will look at them and be like, damn it, why? Why? It will affect my impression of them.
Yeah. But you won't write letter for them, you're saying.
No, I'm saying no, see, this is what kind of conversation is this? You are telling me what I'm going to answer. I'm just saying let's say it was you, right? Would I write a letter to the judge?
Whoever to the court of public opinion.
Yeah, I think I would be open to writing letter, but again, it's the content It is the content.
And what do you mean the content?
Just even in the letter acknowledging that what he did, if convicted, it is terrible. It is this, but it doesn't represent all of this person that I know within my capacity, within my limited experience. So you set that context and then you can talk. Then it feels like, okay, it's more about just acknowledging that this person is not fully defined by that one action and there's more to him. But there needs to be a lot of self-awareness.
And a lot of caveats.
A lot of caveats. Disclaimer.
Yeah, like 2 pages of disclaimer for like 1 page of
It's
letter.
like a Wikipedia article, like, you know, all the references at the bottom. Yeah, so it is more maybe the context. And I mean, these letters now have been made public.
Yeah.
That's why they put out the apology video. Then the apology video also was like half-assed. And then they disable comments on it.
Yeah.
So it just looks like, hey, guys, like...
yeah. And I think there was a meme, people were dissecting the apology video because it's like, the backdrop is like this wooden planks or something, right? But someone pulled up like I think Architectural Digest actually showed what their house looks like before, and it's actually this wooden facade in front of a giant swimming pool and everything. So people they tried to make the video look like they were just sticking in the middle of nowhere, but actually they were in their mansion in Hollywood.
And I mean they were not dressed up or anything.
No makeup,
Like Ashton Kutcher made it seem like it was a bit more off the cuff because he looked at Mila Kunis, but Mila Kunis was just robotics, yeah.
And then there's the hand reaching out to switch on and off the phone thing, which is like not necessary.
Yeah. So it's the whole thing. You look at it, you're like, and then the interesting thing is, that 70s show, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 5 teenagers. Oh shit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 main teenagers, including Topher Grace.
Yeah.
The Wilder Valderrama, who was Fez, and Laura Prepon. But it was only Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis who wrote reference letters.
I see.
Yeah, so then the other co-stars, Laura Prepon was also in the Church of Scientology along with Danny Masterson, but she left in 2016. And then, so it feels okay, even within the cast, there's like differences.
Yeah.
And some other producers, I think on the cast also wrote support letters. And then there's the other side of that whole Scientology thing, because Danny Masterson married someone who is from the Church of Scientology.
Yeah.
And then you get the 4 accusers kind of claiming that there was a fair game campaign to obstruct their lives. And this fair game thing, at first I thought it was just a regular phrase, fair game. But in the world of Scientology, it basically is used to describe politics and practices that carried out by the Church of Scientology towards people and groups it perceives as its enemies.
Oh, I see.
So some of the accusers said their dogs, one dog had to be euthanized because he ate rat poison that was stuffed into a piece of meat and stuff like that. Of course, those are all just claims.
Yeah.
But then it feels like, oh shit, this is weird. And then of course now, as with all things in social media, older videos of Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher and Danny Masterson are coming up, and it doesn't age well.
Oh, like what?
There was one video where Ashton Kutcher was with Mila Kunis on, I think, the Rosie O'Donnell show.
Okay.
And Mila Kunis was talking about how in the first season she was 14.
Oh, yeah.
Ashton Kutcher was 19. And she was told that, okay, like, this is my boyfriend and there's going to be kissing. So and then she said on the show, and Ashton Kutcher was talking about how, I know she's 14. And this clip was, I think, 2003 or something. So there was really some element of being conscious that she was young.
Yeah.
And then Mila Kunis said, "Oh, tell her about the joke that you had with that bet you had with Danny." So Danny Masterson had bet, I think $10 or $20 for Ashton Kutcher to French kiss Mila Kunis on the first kiss.
Okay.
And according to Mila Kunis, Ashton Kutcher was her first kiss.
Oh, man.
So you look at it, and then like Mila Kunis says, but he didn't get his tongue in my mouth. Then Ashton Kutcher was like, I so did. Then you watch it, you're like, oh man. Of course, they ended up getting married.
Yeah.
So it's just the whole thing. It feels like, it's a messy situation.
Yeah. But the thing is Hollywood is a bizarre place, right?
Yeah.
People there have all these kinks and weird things that to the rest of the world, the rest of the normal world outside, like there's a lot of crazy stuff going on, probably on set and all that. We don't even know half of, right? Yeah. So I mean, it's this situation is ugly because of social media and all has amplified a lot of these strange things that these Hollywood stars are doing and all that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if there's anything to take from it, is that if you're Harish's friend and you need him to write a letter for you, just
let me know.
Let him know. There's a lot of disclaimers coming.
The letter will be 1 page, but the disclaimers will be a whole sequence of things.
I think the most relevant example, like you said, about Dikosh, right? And I remember like Nathan Hartono
Yeah.
and other celebrities that are also coming out and writing, not say to support him, right? But saying that, he did something wrong and as a friend, I have to stand by him. But he has also to, face the music himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those types, I think people were, I mean, didn't cause a lot of controversy and everything, right? But it's always a very dicey situation.
Yeah. And but like that post in particular, Nathan, I thought he articulated it well. That it was more that, okay, my friend fucked up. I'm not going to abandon him. He's going through a rough patch. I'll be there for him. Yeah. So that kind of thing, I don't think there was any backlash to that also.
Yeah.
Right.
He wasn't like writing to the Ministry of Home Affairs and asking them to help out.
I mean, maybe some people did. You never know. You never know, sir.
You never know.
You never know.
Yes.
You never know.
But that's a very big it's a big part of the whole Me Too movement in Hollywood that we just talked about, right? But it's not just in Hollywood. It's another part of the world. In Spain as well, where there's a big Me Too movement. Not in the whole entertainment scene, but even the sporting scene. There's a big Me Too moment happening right now. And what is this Me Too moment?
Is that Luis Rubiales?
Yes.
I think that's how you pronounce his name.
Yes.
I know in Spanish there's some silent L's. But he just yesterday, he finally resigned as president of the Spanish Football Federation, following that whole criticism that he got for kissing the Spanish forward Jenni Hermoso at the World Cup Women's World Cup final presentation ceremony.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a lot have happened since then. I think we briefly referenced that whole kissing incident on a previous podcast. But yeah, now he finally resigned.
Yeah. Is there a timeline that for people who didn't follow? I'm just waiting for that.
Of course.
So I think there's an interesting sequence of events.
There is. Yeah. So 20th August, after Spain won the Women's World Cup final, during the ceremony, Luis Rubiales kissed Jenni Hermoso on the lips.
As he was presenting the medals to them, right?
Yeah, it's basically, like when you watch those World Cup finals and all, at the end, they will have this stage in the middle of the field. Then they go out one by one, and there's always a series of guests who are presenting the award, and he's the president of the Spanish Football Federation.
Yeah.
So he hugged her, and then there's a mini screenshots of him just holding her face.
He grabs her face.
Yeah, and kissing her on the lips. A very brief kiss.
Yeah.
Right? And then the next day,
he ushers her along. Right?
He ushers her along. Yeah. And then it was during a live stream later that night, Hermoso was asked during an interview, and she said she did not enjoy it.
Yeah.
She did not enjoy the kiss. So 21st August, Rubiales issues an apology, saying he's sorry for those who were offended. And by then, he had already gotten a lot of criticism from footballers, media, and the Spanish Prime Minister.
Yeah.
So at that point in time, already, some people were calling him to step down. Then, 24th August, FIFA opens disciplinary proceedings to examine Rubiales' actions. Then there was an emergency meeting at the Spanish FA on the 25th August, where Rubiales called the kiss consensual, and he insists that he will not resign. I think there's a viral video also of him saying he will not resign. He will not resign. Then later that day, Hermoso, the woman who was kissed, she releases a statement on Instagram saying that Rubiales is talking nonsense, and at no time the kiss was consensual. Because that's what Rubiales said, the kiss was consensual, right? So on that same day also, the Spanish government began legal proceedings to suspend Rubiales, and the Spanish Secretary of Sport saying he wants this to be Spanish football's Me Too moment.
Yeah.
So this is all in the span of 5 days. So he kissed, he said he's not going to resign. The government, other media personalities, and the player herself started clamping down. 25th August also, 81 Spanish players, including all the women who went to the World Cup, announced they will not play for the Spanish women's team until Rubiales is removed. Then the next day, Spanish Football Federation, which is what Rubiales was president of, said they will take legal action over each falsehood. So at that point, they were still kind of backing him. Then 26th August, FIFA suspends Rubiales. 26th August, the entire coaching staff of the World Cup team, everybody resigned except the head coach. Jorge Vilda. And then by then he already starts criticizing Rubiales. Then there was an investigation. 28th August, Rubiales' mother goes on hunger strike. In church in his hometown. But amidst that, Spanish football heads were demanding his resignation. Then the UEFA president, UEFA president scolds Rubiales, says it's inappropriate, calls for FIFA's investigation to be allowed to carry on. Then the next few days, Spanish men's team came out to condemn him. 5th September, the coach is sacked. Vilda is sacked. And this is 16 days after he won the World Cup.
Is it Vildas or Vilda?
Vilda.
Oh, Vilda. Okay.
Jorge Vilda.
Okay. Yep.
16 days after winning the World Cup. 6th September, Hermoso, the player, she submits a complaint to Spain's National Prosecutor's Office. So she's pressing charges. And then 8th September, the prosecutor's office files a complaint to the High Court. And then 10th September...
Criminal charges, criminal sexual assault.
Criminal charges. Rubiales announces his resignation.
So, on Piers Morgan, uncensored.
Piers Morgan. So, I mean, basically, like, if everything of that, you're like, what the hell is Harish talking about? Basically, there was the case. He said he's not going to resign. Everybody started clamping down on him, including people who at first stood by him. The player wanted to press charges, and then he resigned.
Very, very long sequence of events for one case that ruined everything for him.
One case. So that's the crux of it. But like from the time it happened to now, how this one you've been following, right?
I've been following, this one I'm following. Because I mean the Women's World Cup, I think, was this Women's World Cup, I think we mentioned, was a much bigger deal than all previous Women's World Cups, right?
Yeah.
But the actions of his actions at the end of the match and all have drawn much more attention than the actual, joy of Spain winning the Women's World Cup, right?
But like, what was your thoughts when you saw this pan out?
The first thing I wanted to ask, right, and maybe you have more color on this because you have relatives there and you spend more time there, right? In Spanish culture, how normal it is for people to kiss each other on the lips when they see each other, when greeting each other and all.
I mean, I've definitely not kissed any of my family members on the lips.
Those from Spain, no.
No.
Because I mean, like I asked him because when I was in France, that whole like the kissing cheek to cheek thing. It's a very, it's a normal greeting. It's like day to day when you just meet someone for the first time, sometimes a guy or girl or what, you would do that, right? In Singapore, we'll never do that because you'll be rubbing your sweat probably all over each other and it's disgusting and you get COVID.
I think the more relevant experience, so I do have family members in Spain who grew up in Spain.
Okay.
So my cousins there, they look Spanish, they speak Spanish. Spanish is their first language. But I think that one, the Cindy culture overpowers the Spanish culture a bit more. So there's no like there's hugging and all.
Okay.
But I remember back in school in the US, a lot of my Hispanic friends, friends from Spain, there was a very warm culture there. So you meet, even go to class, you like kiss on the lips. No, on the cheek. On the lips. On the cheek. And I remember coming from Singapore, I was like, oh, wow, okay,
so
that's
friendly.
So friendly. And then when I traveled to Central America also, of course, Spain and Central Latin America, they are different, but there's a lot of similarities also. And that same culture, I remember going to my friend, Mexican, his house, like everybody was so warm. The mom, the sister, the auntie, everybody just kiss on the cheek, you know. And it is a very like it is part of their culture to a large extent. But on the lips, I guess different.
Much, right? But so I mean that was the first question in my mind, right? Was there some cultural misinterpretation of like what's acceptable in their culture that we are projecting and saying, oh, that's terrible and all that. But hearing from your experience and obviously from the subsequent Jenni Hermoso herself saying that she did not like it was not consensual and all. Doesn't feel that was consensual whatsoever, right? It's not part of their culture, so to speak.
I think the biggest thing is from her, Jenni Hermoso. I think that's the biggest thing that changed everything. Like her saying it's not consensual. And wanting to press charges and all.
But you watched the video. Could it possibly have been consensual?
It looked lah.
Cannot, right? It was like he grabbed her and just kissed her on the lips straight away.
Yeah.
Like she did not even have, like, it's not like he asked her or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
So how can it be consensual? Even if it was like, whatever it is, like, whether, even if it was between guys or something, someone did that to you as a guy, you'd be like, what the hell, right?
Yeah. But like, then what do you think of the argument saying it was in the heat of the moment? Here's the Spanish football president.
Yeah.
Like, already, like, winning the World Cup is like the epitome of football.
Yeah.
Right? In the heat of the moment. Correct. Is there any kind of like, redeeming point there?
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of times in life when, you celebrate things, you won competitions, or you've done something great in your life, but you don't immediately go and rob a bank or something like that, or stab someone in the heat of the moment, and then after that be like, oh, okay, it was just in the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
So something wrong was done, I think, regardless of whether it was in the heat of the moment or not. And that's the thing that I need to focus on, that there was a certain behavior that was wrong. Because I think, aside from all that, people were also pulling out. They found a video of him when he was in the stands celebrating during the match. And near the Queen of Spain and everything, right?
His wife and all.
He was celebrating. Suddenly he started to grab his crotch, and shaking it towards someone in the crowd or someone on the field or something like that. And I think people are like, that's really inappropriate behavior for an official of the country, right? To be celebrating like that in front of everybody in public. So it tells you that, everything is in the heat of the moment, but there seems to be a pattern of behavior where the things that he thinks he's allowed to do, whether in the heat of the moment or not, seem to be very different from what normal people think is acceptable behavior, right? And maybe it points to a larger problem within the management of the Spanish team. That's why there's this whole issue, that we've only seeing it on the surface now because of the kiss that was in public, right? But what about anything else? If he thinks that this behavior was consensual and in the heat of the moment, what else is also being swept under the rug, right?
Yeah. And I mean, the good thing is that when Jenni Hermoso, I think they had a recent game in Mexico, she was given like a standing ovation. There's a mural of her painted on the stadium. So it's not, say, like, like the US women's national team. I think even within the US, they are quite polarizing. Because some people feel they are overstepping their role as sportswomen into politics and all. But this one, it feels like even the country is behind her. And I mean, there has been a strong Me Too movement in Spain over the past few years. And it's just like what you said about what else is swept under the carpet. Like Jorge Vilda, the head coach, he was the only one who didn't resign when everyone else did. So you look at it, you're like,
but I mean, he just literally just won the World Cup, right?
Yeah. So that's why. So then it brings up the question, like, okay, shit, like, is this? Because you can argue, right? Let's say they just won the World Cup. This guy, Luis Rubiales, as much as he doesn't believe in consensual kissing, he's a good president. Then what, like, of all the good things that could happen with Spanish football through people who know their shit, by changing the management totally, could this be a setback also, to women's football in Spain?
But I think then it's important to look at the context of what's been happening with the team. I think last September, that means in 2022, there already was some mutiny within the Spanish national team, the women's national team, where I think 15 players or something said that unless there are major changes within management, they refuse to play for the national team or what. And I think at that point of time, the Spanish Football Federation was a lot more defensive and saying that, we're treating this very seriously. If you're one of the 15 players, like, it's mutiny. Basically, they're saying like, this is very mutinous kind of behavior, and it's not allowed, and you won't be selected for the national team next time. So it sounds like within the organization, the players already were, at least a big group of them, were already trying to blow the whistle and saying that there's something wrong with the management structure here. So I mean, like, all these things with the coach and all, like that you pointed out, that the coach, everyone else resigned, but he didn't resign, and he didn't really speak up against what happened as well appropriately until much later, until there was a lot of pressure. So it points that there probably was something already brewing within the dressing room and all that this was the moment that everything spilled over. So I think there's a lot of people out there who are saying, they're making a mountain out of a molehill. It's just one small incident and it's overshadowed. You all are shooting yourselves in the foot by letting it overshadow what you guys have done. In fact, some people were even going on to Jenni Hermoso's Instagram, and there's a picture of her kissing another guy on the lips. And it turns out it's her brother, her older brother. So you look at the comments which you can translate and all. People are like, how can you can kiss your older brother on the lips and then another guy kiss you? This is even worse than another guy kiss you. That kind of thing, right? So that's the internet. But I think the point there is that there are people who are looking at the kiss as this isolated incident and causing such a large fallout. But it sounds like, or at least to us outside, you're looking at the sequence of events, that there's more to it. That they have been pushing for something for some time, and now this just tips everything over.
Which I mean, in some way, it is kind of like related to the first topic, because now the women's national coach is a woman.
Yeah.
And in light of all those new videos that are coming up about how on the set of that 70s show, here's a 14-year-old, 19-year-old. I mean, over the past few years, we've seen the rise of intimacy coordinators on set, because in settings like those, you have a new actress, a guy who's older who knows another guy on set. There's just this bro kind of like this bro code. I don't say bro code, the bro mentality where we are in power, we can do whatever we want. So I mean, like, hopefully this works out for Spanish football, because if the women's coach comes in and they still continue to kick ass, right, then it's fucking great It's great.
But maybe that's like a big thing right? That why is it that there is a male coach when there are probably capable female coaches also in the system? Why is it a male coach that is coaching the female side, right? Of course, you could point to meritocracy and all these things, but at the end of the day, if it's a women's game, right, why not let a female coach also run it, right? Give it an opportunity, not saying that it must be like that forever, but at least have the opportunity, So I mean, but what do you think, if you were let's say in your hockey days or something like that, your teacher in charge, I don't know, of hockey, maybe she's a woman or something, and then you're celebrating or winning a game, and then suddenly you run up to the teacher and then like hug and kiss and all, and then after that,
she grabs my face.
No, you as the player, But
that one different, right?
Why different?
Because it's a player and the coach. This one is like there's an age, there's a gender thing.
Okay. So there's a power dynamic.
Yeah, there's a power dynamic there also.
So the player, if it was Jenni Hermoso who grabbed him and kissed, then that's okay Let's say.
If he says it's not consensual, then same thing
Then
they cannot be double standards.
Then
they cannot be double standards. But if she grab and kiss, then it's just the reversal.
But I guess like what you said, is she grab and kiss. At least there's no like big power dynamic between them, right? Like she can't fire him or determine whether
let's say she's a terrorist and I love her.
Yeah.
When we rap, right, you just go up to one of the actresses and kiss them on the lips.
That's inappropriate
Yeah, everybody will be like, yo, Terrence, what the fuck, Terrence?
Yeah.
All right.
Or even like not even like the director, but you as the lead actor.
And with the actress that I actually kissed.
And you casted her. You wrote the script, the scene and everything.
And there's a scene where I kissed her.
So isn't that inappropriate?
But that one, she knew it was coming.
Yeah. No, and I think we also made sure to talk to the actress and everything about it very carefully, right?
Yeah.
There was a not say intimacy coordinator or what, but there was always the makeup artist. Was always with them and everything, right?
Yeah. But then if we rap and then I go and be like, hey, I kissed you just now, I kiss you again.
Yeah.
that one doesn't work,
Yeah. Then it becomes inappropriate. So I think the context and the time and place does matter, and who's kissing, who's grabbing who.
If it was a Spanish kissing team, then the president of the Spanish Kissing Federation kiss the player. Even then, right, I think gotta find you can't just assume that it's consensual.
Correct. Yeah. But so do you think the more appropriate behavior for him would have been to step down immediately after that whole thing blew up?
I mean, if he wants to fight and fight it, I mean, that's up to him. Yeah.
I think but maybe the moment that the female player said that it was not non-consensual. I think the writing's on the wall already, right? Yeah. You kind of like read the room wrongly.
Maybe he could have rescued it if he wasn't so adamant that he did nothing wrong.
If he apologized very profusely.
If he apologized, and if he kind of like, maybe not say step down, but like promoted someone else to be like, in Hollywood, they basically had an intimacy coordinator come on set, and it doesn't mean you can't have a male director anymore.
Yeah.
But there's at least someone there to make sure that nothing funky is happening.
Yeah. The funny thing is that the coach, Jorge Vilda, there's a video of him also, like after they win I think while they were celebrating winning, he also accidentally, I don't know accidentally, but he also grabbed one of his team staff's boobs. Like while, I guess they all were in a huddle and everything, right? And it's captured on camera. So you can find the video out there.
But did it look like intentional? Because I have definitely elbowed like boobs of like like people like over the years.
So that one, I mean, people saw it. I think articles were written about it in light of everything that's going on. But it hasn't been as big hasn't caused big thing or what, because firstly, you look at the video, he's not even looking at the person. It could have totally been an accidental thing where he was trying to like, just embrace his team staff or anything like that. And I think that particular member of the staff has not come forward and said that, she was sexually harassed or anything like that,
Yeah.
So maybe that's why it's not become a thing. But it's just another big question mark, right? When there's so much, seems to be a lot of controversy or tension between the male members of management and the female players. That makes you question other relationships within the team also, which is not good for the sport, right? Because nobody talks about the Spanish women's team winning or
that's why it's all about his kiss.
It's all about this guy. He made it all about himself, right? And even appearing on Piers Morgan seems to be like the thing for
Did you watch the whole interview?
No, I just saw the snippets of it, and it's just like he's not exactly sorry for anything, right? So tough situation for Spanish football.
Yeah, man.
Even after winning a World Cup.
But it's like turning a new leaf, if there's one part where you want to get the most talented people to work on the team, is probably now after they won the World Cup.
Yeah,
right. But
tough lah. So
interesting.
So you're saying that if you were the player and you grabbed your female teacher in charge or anything like that, that's not an issue lah. That's less of an issue.
It is equally an issue. First of all, assuming age lah. Okay, the way you just say, let's say university lah.
Okay.
University. If you grab the teacher and like it's not consensual, it is an issue.
Yeah,
it's an issue. If you grab another player and you just kiss him or her on the lips, also is not consensual, is an issue lah.
Yeah, but in football, there's this very big culture of like slapping each other on the butt lah, right?
American football lah.
No, even
football, not so much. God, you see.
So, when substitutes take over, a lot of times they slap the other player's butt or something, to move along and everything like that. The one also, is it consensual or not consensual?
I think there's a whole Key and Peele skit about this American footballer who just loves to slap ass.
Yeah, exactly. I think I remember.
I mean, consensual slap on the butt.
Friendly slap on the butt between people.
I'm pretty sure now, like anyone who does that, they might be a bit more conscious lah.
Have to be
to be lah. I don't know whether they would check. Hey, bro, you okay if I slap your butt in the heat of a moment?
Yeah.
So,
but last time when you were playing hockey or that, you all didn't, no slaps on the butt or anything?
No slaps on the butt.
Oh, okay.
I think now one thing, right, that I'm never fully sure, which is the recent thing, is when taking photos with people you just met at events or something, right?
Yeah.
The hand on the shoulder.
The hand, yeah. You gotta be careful of the hand.
Yeah, cannot lah, right?
You gotta have the hover hands, you just hover.
But then you cannot make it so obviously hovering. You need to kind of mask the hover.
Or just don't put the hands on.
But then you don't do, then it feels like very like COVID time, got socially distant like that. So that's something that I've realized.
Struggle with, because you want to put your hands on people.
Not struggle with. It's just something that, I mean, in some way, there's a certain camaraderie, when people are getting close. But now you have to be very conscious of that, lah. But I don't know how girls feel about that. Like, I'm guessing most guys will be like, okay, don't put your arm around anyone unless you know them well enough or something, lah.
Maybe. I don't know. But you know, there are, for example, the Pixar CEO, right? John Lasseter. I mean, he got the whole big Me Too thing. I mean, he was a genius who created Toy Story, all that. But he's out of Pixar because, you know, people felt like he was inappropriately hugging employees for too long and things like that. You see, so there is also that to contend with. That what you think is just very friendly or overtly, like, you know, like camaraderie building kind of behavior could actually be perceived as harassment. Yeah. So you careful with your hands.
I knew you were coming from that moral high ground thing. No, I don't do it.
Oh, okay.
But I'm just saying it's something that
you want to do, but
no.
You are a master at putting your hands on things for too long. That's what you are.
Inanimate objects. 84
hours also can.
75 lah. 75. But yeah, it is something that occurs to me like, okay, you have to be careful. You know, which I guess it's new lah.
Yeah.
And I think I'm gonna ask my female friends, you know, what they feel about that. Like if they're at a work meeting or something, and then post a photo.
Yeah.
I don't think it's kosher.
I mean, right now, I guess if it's like above shoulder or like shoulder and all, it's not too bad lah. Once you start going to the back and the waist,
above shoulder also, I can imagine can be a bit tricky.
Can lah. Let's say the person is like wearing like, you know, no showing the shoulders or something like that. Then it's skin on skin contact. So it's very tricky.
Then it becomes your hover skill. Your hover skill.
Your hover skill. I mean, do what I do lah. Just point. Just use your fingers and point.
Both hands doing something.
Just point lah. You know, point to show that, hey, I'm I'm like friends with this person, that kind of thing lah. You know. But don't need to go and like touch and hug lah. Yeah.
That's true. You point a lot.
I point a lot.
But you have to point like face only lah.
Obviously you don't point at the private parts or anything lah, right? That's inappropriate. Pointing is a solution.
Pointing is a solution. Yeah, point. When in doubt, point.
Yeah, when in doubt, point. Even the hover hands also could be just seen as like, it's even creepier because it seems like you're so conscious of it that it's like weird lah, right?
And you're like, okay, I want to touch you, but you know, I want to be polite, so I'm just gonna do that.
And then the question mark is, after the photo is taken, did your hand come down and touch?
Correct. Yeah. So interesting lah.
Yeah. But kiss definitely cannot.
Kiss definitely cannot.
Kiss is out of the question. Okay.
But yeah.
Oh wait, I just wanted to ask also. If it was just a kiss on the cheek, do you think it would have been a different thing?
I think it all comes down to the consent. Like if it was something that, like, you don't grab the face and kiss on the cheek lah. Because you can, I mean, like a consensual hug. You know, like you need both parties to come into it, right?
And then pull and drag the person.
Pull and drag. If you hug someone and their hands are just by their side and all, then it's not a consensual hug.
Yeah. So kiss on the cheek also, if his hands weren't holding on to her face and then there was a kiss on the cheek, maybe it might have passed something. Maybe. Yeah. But he was also grabbing his crotch right before that. So I don't know where.
But he wasn't grabbing his crotch right before that. It was like 30 minutes before.
But also not in the appropriate place to be grabbing your crotch.
True. But maybe it's part of the the showing I'm a man kind of thing.
Yeah. Remember I think the men's World Cup. The Argentinian goalkeeper Martinez, right? He also did some a bit more lewd gesture.
He put the golden gloves at his crotch.
That
was fucking weird.
But I mean, he was just doing. I mean, it's a rude gesture, but he didn't do it on anybody, right?
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah. So nothing came out from there,
Yeah. But cool.
Yes. So besides talking about kisses, we also would like to talk about one Shiok comments.
Yeah.
Much more innocent than kisses. And what is your one Shiok comment?
My one Shiok comment is it's on I guess the people who have commented so far on the mega thread we posted over the weekend relating to our latest horror comedy podcast series. It's called Afterlife Support. I think over the weekend it reached like number 6 on Spotify.
Yeah.
After just 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So I mean, just anyone who has given it a listen, and like even the people who commented on this thread, like the familiar Jungle Jimbo, Accidental Jurist, we really appreciate you guys listening to it.
Yeah.
And if anybody has any comments relating to the show, just join the party there, man. Yeah. So that's my one Shiok series of comments.
Yeah. And for me, my one Shiok comment is is on our Reddit thread as well about the episode 434 where we talked about the Kinderland saga and everything. There's a lot of interesting comments from people, accidental jurist, for example, Kim Ji-hoon and all, talking about the incident and what was actually bad or wrong about it. And it's quite interesting because I think there's a lot. I mean, everyone has a lot of different perspectives about it, but if anything, that we can all agree on, the comms in the whole case wasn't great. And I think there's a lot of interesting comments here that people are making about how the comms were handled very badly.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Cool. All right, man. And what about your one Shiok thing?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's a Shiok thing, but in light of everything that we're talking about, the Me Too movement and you know, sexual assault and abuse and everything, there's a Netflix show, is it just a movie, a Netflix movie out now? I think it came out about 3 weeks ago. It's a documentary called Scouts Honor, the secret files of the Boy Scouts of America. So it's about thousands, I think 82,000 cases of sexual abuse that have in recent years have unraveled and come out into public. And basically this is a movie that talks about how the whole Scouts movement in America seems to have, you know, neglected or maybe even allegedly covered up a lot of these cases of abuse between Scoutmasters and children. God. And it's a very difficult documentary to watch because it recounts a lot of stories of victims. But I think what's interesting is that they're all grown men now, men in their 40s, 50s, who are all coming forward in front of camera, talking about how they were, sexually assaulted or abused when they were part of the Scouts as kids. And the documentary delves into the system that made it possible for this to happen. So it's a real tough watch, but I actually didn't really want to watch it, but because I was from a uniform group last time in school, and then you hear about the Scouts and all that, I didn't know that all this was happening and that even the Boy Scouts of America have now filed for bankruptcy to protect themselves from all these lawsuits already.
Oh, really?
Yeah, since 2020, 2021. So yeah, I didn't know all this was happening, so it's really interesting because, yeah, as a parent of a young child, a young boy especially, yeah, there's a lot of things. You realize that there's a lot of things that you have to be careful of. And whatever institutions or organizations, in community, whether it's religious or secular or whatever, there's a lot of predators out there who, basically, I think the big point is access to children, right? There's the key. Oh my God. There's the key thing that a lot of predators are looking for.
So like it's a one-off
one-off thing. It's one of those things you watch already, you just like the world's a horrible place you feel after that. Yeah.
Fuck.
So yeah, that's why in the same theme as a lot of what we're discussing today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like after you watch that, you can watch my one Shiok thing, which is a lot easier to watch.
Okay.
It's the original Ip Man, which I haven't watched.
The first one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's on Netflix? Or?
Yeah, Netflix. Okay. Yeah.
Your first time watching it?
First time watching it.
Why do you suddenly watch Ip Man? Cultural exchange?
No. I remember, was it Saturday night or something?
Yeah.
I think me and my wife just finished meal prepping for the week.
Okay.
And 3 hours of cooking and all.
Yeah.
And we said, okay, let's just veg out. And I wanted a movie where it was fun, got action, and no need to think that much.
Yeah.
Then I was, I've been wanting to watch Ip Man for a long time.
Yeah.
And so she was just chilling out, not really paying attention to the TV I was watching. Then it really is a fun watch.
Yeah.
The story is so ridiculous. I mean, it has some truth. It's based on the life of the real Ip Man, right?
Yeah.
But of course with creative liberties.
Yeah.
And he's just a monster who just beats the shit out of people.
Yeah.
And the way they recreated that city of Foshan.
Yeah.
I don't know how accurate it is, but there was something very, fantastical about the whole show and the look and feel of it.
Sure.
Right. Yeah. So I thought that was a easy watch.
But it was actually really good. It was a really good movie.
It's a really good movie.
Yeah. It's got real character, real heart and everything.
Yeah,
I take offense when you saying that it's a
very easy watch.
Brainless easy watch.
It's a very easy watch. It's a very, very easy watch.
It was a big cultural thing back in the day as well. For I think China, Hong Kong-ish kind of movies. And it launched Donnie Yen into the mainstream. Right? I mean, he had always been a star, but mostly just for, martial arts and smaller roles. But this one really launched him into the stratosphere.
Yeah, but it was an easy watch. Easy watch.
No, it's a very easy watch, but I also feel like as a movie, it's really engaging and everything.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I really enjoyed it.
Try 2 and 3. Then you 2 and 3 and all onwards, to me, are easy watches.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. In the sense that they didn't have the gravitas of the first one, where it was anchored in the Sino-Japanese conflict and everything.
Yeah.
2 and 3. I mean, there's Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson freaking appears.
That's when Hollywood was like, okay, we got to make this shit.
Yeah. But one really was like, I think even for me, it opened my eyes. Like, oh wow, they are understanding how to really create movies that speak to not just China or Hong Kong or what, but really to the world, right?
So if I say it was campy, is that offensive also?
I mean, then I'll question like how, in what context you're watching. Like, were you like stoned or something like that?
No, because I mean, in some way, I say campy in the sense that like certain parts of the story, I'm like, it's a bit improbable that it just happened like that. So that's what I meant by campy. But I loved it in the sense that it just was very. It didn't shy away from just being on the nose,
Yeah.
But yeah, it was still an easy watch. I could see you tense up and like you fucking insulting my culture.
I'm trying to protect you here, by pointing that out before someone calls you out for it.
If they call me what, like it's not an easy watch, it's a difficult watch. It's an easy watch. Like the best movies are always easy watches, right?
Yeah. So I mean, I guess the equivalent is if I watched like
3 Idiots or something.
I say, oh, it's so culturally shallow, that kind of thing.
I never say it's culturally shallow.
I said 3 Idiots. I love 3 Idiots.
But easy and culturally shallow, two very different things.
No, but Iman does. I think it walks a fine line between like being, taking itself too seriously and also just being a fun watch. It walks a very nice fine line.
Yeah, it was great, man. It was great. But cool, man, Terrence, you come down already or not?
Yeah. I just want to lay the ground that that we are a multicultural podcast, that we also
very forcefully lay the ground. Very forcefully lay the ground.
We are open to all types of interpretations of cultural products. Yes.
I remember the last movie that I said I got very worked out about, and you said easy watch was Crazy Rich Asians.
No lah.
You said it's easy one.
No, Barbie. I think Barbie was the recent one.
I guess Barbie as well.
Barbie. I enjoyed it. Barbie to me was an easy watch, fun Friday night watch.
Yeah, because you never think about the message, Terrence.
It's like you just walked out from Oppenheimer expecting, then you end up watching Barbie instead.
That's right. But cool, man.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening. And if you did enjoy this podcast, just remember to hit that subscribe button on YouTube and follow us on Spotify. Leave a rating, and if you want to participate in the discussion, just head on over to our Reddit. All the links are in the show notes.
Peace.